Hello and welcome everyone back to Dumbass Class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, and my players as always, as we do another Rogue Trader game, or session, episode, however you want to say it. So in the last episode, our group had a shaky get back into the session kind of a vibe, where they forgot the most important rule of all these games: don't split the party. Um, so as our
Yes, we
blue,
split the party in every campaign so far.
yeah,
Literally every campaign.
one day it'll bite you in the ass. Um, as their new blue friend has decided to take the two tech orientated members of the party, an NPC and a PC named Cray, into the bowels of the ship to go and explore, loot, conquer. I'm not entirely sure. Heinrich has remained outside with other NPCs
Salvage.
as a legitimate salvage collection. As they scout out the area, search for ways out. I believe Muttermouth and possibly a drone are searching the canyon up to the top right, and the inbreds and a drone are defending the bottom left route. I can't remember what Heinrich's doing, if he's just gone up there to check on Mouth or what. But it's been about 3 hours as our internal investigators or salvagers have been crawling around through the bowels of the ship. Now, the ship has nose planted into the side of a valley wall, cliff, what have you. So structural integrity within the ship, not particularly great. And as it took an unfortunate dip into the immaterium for its dramatic entrance onto this planet, things are not quite right. So, with the structural integrity of the ship being so low, the main corridor, the spine of the ship, has been severely damaged. So Cooney has had to take Cray and Thomas through the longest routes round, because every time they try to use the spine corridor, they find that there's a collapse in it. Part of it has fallen away, and this ship is huge. I know the token compared to like their tokens, it should probably be like 9 times that size. All 40k ships are just gigantic. So, yeah, it's taken quite a long time just to get through the hangars where all the deployable equipment would have been, through the maintenance bays where all those parts and supplies would have been kept, uh, through the deployment barracks, which our group decided to move on from rather than try to pick the lock into the quartermaster's holding area.
We're going after the key.
I believe you're heading towards the again habitation block for the crew, which is where you'd find the quartermaster's quarters. So you're now entering the habitation area for the deployable troops. You can't use the elevator because the elevator is not functioning. So you've had to take each floor by ladder. I believe we ended the last episode off at you've come to the entrance to the deployables habitation bay. Cooney would know that you'd have to go through this area and then up another smaller elevator to get to the crew compartment, the where the crew live. But as you come into this area, the flickering lights that were flickering die. So you go into complete blackness. Just before the lights went out, the corridor you could see has twisted around and the floor is uneven. And you basically go down a corridor and then it splits off to where you can go right or left. But Cooney would know it's just a map print. If you go right, it just leads you down into living quarters on your right and left hand side, and if you go left, it's just straight up living quarters left and right of you. So, oh yes, and there's a strange smell. There's a musty odor coming out of this area.
Do I recognize this odor?
It's burnt flesh.
Caramelized tuna.
It was said last session. No, it doesn't smell like fish. It's flesh burning. I don't remember, but did any of us three have a flashlight? I think Ray has a flashlight.
I have one of those small flashlights used to test eye reflex.
So the person who had the flashlight was one of the people who got blowed up, and the flashlight that never runs out of battery kind of went kaboom.
Indeed.
Because for some reason you
No,
thought it was funny for the blind girl to hold on to the flashlight.
I never thought that.
Well, someone did. That's why she held on to it.
No, you have to admit, it was pretty funny.
I think it just was something she claimed and then never gave back. And we never bought
No,
it.
she wanted to give it to me and said, no, you hold on to it for now. That was a big mistake.
Mistakes were made.
So, if using the tiny flashlight can help us a little bit, and I kind of know the layout, I'll just try to guide them along the way. And if there are there any emergency, basically med kits on the wall on Guinea any side or anything along those lines? This is a ship, right? So there should be stations or mountain stations that could have something, even if it's just a tiny flashlight.
Sure. I mean, give me an intelligence check. I'd probably say a minus 20, minus 10.
Intelligence check?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll use a fate point. Nope.
You know they exist, Cooney, but you don't actually live down here. You live in the crew quarters. Like you only came down here because there was so much free space. You could literally just run round the cargo bay because it was empty. So you don't really know where they are on the deployment habitation areas. You know there should be some, but you're not entirely sure where they'd be, if they'd be at the end of each row of habitation blocks. Because again, there's not really any information I can go on about what the size, shape, and layout of Tau quarters are. Like, I have Imperial shit, but even a Tau book doesn't really tell me, like, okay, they're crammed in like sardines. It's one Tau per quarter. It's bunk beds. It's this, that, or the other. So, you know they should be there, and if you were in the crew area of the ship, you'd have a better time remembering whereabouts they would be. But you can only guess that maybe at the ends of each row of habitation blocks.
Okay. I'll tell that to both Cray and Thomas. And I say we should probably hit one of those, because those should have flashlights, and that would make our lives easier.
I start helping to look for the flashlight.
Okay, so you
No one.
walk down the corridor, and this is your first right or left choice. So if you when you look right and you shine your light down, it's only a very, very small light, so it basically, the light fades into that darkness. It doesn't illuminate a wall, and it looks as if it's 5, maybe, like you can't quite see to the end, but maybe it's 5 rows per section. And you look to your right and left, and yeah, the light disappears before you can see, but you can at least see 3 corridors going down. Actually, I'm probably being a bit generous for a stab for a medical light.
Don't forget, in pitch darkness, your eyes adjust very big, very high. So with this medical step light, you would be able to see a decent amount.
Yeah, but that's like after half an hour. Anyway,
15 minutes. I mean, how long have
Did you
been
say they were in
this?
there for like 3 hours?
Yeah, but that was with flickering lights.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
This is the first time you've gone into pitch, like well, obviously there's light behind you from where you came, but once you start turning left, right, that's when it's going to be like pitch black, except from what lights you have. So yeah, this is the first. Do you want to go right or left?
I mean, if I know it's towards the end, that would be right or left. If it's right, I'll go right. If it's left, I'll go left.
What do you mean you're in the middle? I literally just explained how you're in the middle. This is just your first choice of right or left.
I'm going to the left.
Okay, so we're going left. So as you turn around and you start walking left, it seems the middle one is like a double. So there are 2 rooms next to each other. And then you walk along, you come to your first corridor that goes down, that gives you access to the rooms. As you shine your stab light, down there, right? Again, your light doesn't get all the way to the end, but you do see that there's about 3 rooms, 3 doors going down. You walk a bit further, and you can get to another row of hab blocks. You turn your light further. Okay, still haven't quite got to the end yet. Do you want to go to the end of that corridor, of that row on the left, and then walk all the way down the side?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, that'll be good.
So it's 6 corridors that lead down into the rooms of the hab blocks. As you get to the very end of the corridor, there seems to be just a single row on your right-hand side of hab blocks. Cooney, there is, as you look around at this wall, there is no emergency hatch or container. You don't see anything around, so you guess it must be a bit further down on this wall.
I'll just say that.
So you start
Probably further along.
walking down the wall. So you've got no corridors on your left hand side. You're only going to have corridors coming up on your right hand side.
Yeah, I'll just say that to the group and keep moving, I guess.
Okay. So it's 6 rows of on each side. So that's 12 rows altogether. But we're working in halves right now. As you go down, you thought it was 3 hab blocks. As you go down now, no, it's actually 6 hab blocks. So they're 6 by 6 room block areas when you cut them up. So as you come down, you come to your first corridor that leads down. So when you look to your right at the end of the first 6 bunks, you can see all the way down. Or you would be able to if the light was on. Lights were on. But as you shine your stab light, you don't see that far, and there's a lot more detritus on the ground. On your side, it seems quite clear, quite orderly almost. But as you're the furthest extent of your light and just a bit closer to you, you can make out that, yeah, there's a lot of crap is littered about on the floor. And as you put your stab light up a little higher, you notice that the corridor seems to have squashed in a bit more. Do you want to go down that corridor and look, or do you want to move on to the next corridor and see if there's an emergency survival kit there? Emergency kit.
I mean, personally, I'd say should go to the easiest one first. Because
I'm not going to do with. I'm not going into that.
So you're going to stay on the outskirts of the hab block.
Yeah.
Carry on your wall. Okay. So
Out of character, I'm not going into the Nurgle hallway.
So you go further down, and the smell of burning has started to fade. Another smell is coming through. It is much mustier. But Cooney, you, as Cray's looking around the stab light, you see where the emergency kit. It's now I have to make things up. How am I? So it's basically a space towel-shaped box, meaning it's got strange angles that you lift up and you take what you need, as in an emergency torch. I imagine there's been like a drinks container in there, some food, just for emergencies. Maybe a little oxygen breather, but I don't know about that. And this is on the second row of 6. The corridor leading down.
Is there? Oh no, we found it, right?
You found the box, yes?
Is there a singular torch or are there multiple torches?
As you open the box up, you find that it is empty. And there is a... God damn it. I think your blood is blue. There's a blue smear of a handprint inside.
I'm going to point that out to the other two and make a motion to, investigate.
I say sure.
Okay, so the bloody handprint is on the inside of the box. So when you open the top up to reach in to grab what's there, there's a handprint and smeared fingers that then, you know, end where the stuff would have been.
Mm.
So,
Unfortunate.
you want to? How do you want to investigate this?
I mean, looking around, are there any more splotches of blood, basically?
Can I get a perception test with a -20? Unless you have dark sight, and I believe it's a -10. Sorry, yeah, -20 for not having it, -10 if you do.
So, well, the awareness in this one, not perception. So,
Oh yeah, it is.
-20. Ooh, I passed.
Awareness, that's the one. So as Cray, you know, looks around with the stab light, it takes you a while, but you do notice that. Hang on a minute, that's a smear there. That's a smear there. It leads inside to the habitation block, so away from your protected area. When you look down, there's a lot more detritus, and it definitely looks as if the ceiling above has caved in. It's definitely crushed inwards more as you look over. But again, you can only see so far because of the stab light and the structures. But some of the doors seem to have pushed open. The closest 3, 6, or however many you can see. So again, do you want to go in and follow the trail, or do you want to carry on going down your lane?
I'll ask the other two if they would like to check that out. I mean, there are 3 open. We could check them out and then come back. Or we can keep going. But this was the box.
Hmm. Sure, we can take it a closer look.
Let's go.
Okay, so you move down, so you're no longer hugging the left-hand wall. You're now going into the facility or into the habitation area. So you go past, you go in, and you go past the first 6 rooms, because there's one on either side. Yeah, there's one on either side. And then your stab light gets further and further, so you're able to see more into the upcoming 6. So the first 6 seem to be in okay condition. You can still see these blood splatters every now and then. It looks like it's from a soul individual. But as Cray's paying more attention to the floor now to look for the blood splatters, you do also notice as you're walking further in and past the next 6 rooms that the floor is becoming a lot dirtier, grimier. You've gone in. You've gone through. Oh, this is really going to get kind of difficult. You've gone past the first 12 rooms on that side. You're now onto another corridor where you can go straight ahead to the next 12 rooms, because again, one on either side. Or you can go left or right, and then you'll go to other upsides. So what would you like to do now that you've come to the end of the first first 12 rooms?
Honestly, I think this is getting a bit too deep. And it's too dark, so I will suggest we just go back and maybe check one of the first few rooms. Because honestly, there are easier ways. Even if we have to backtrack down to the water master thing, there should be other boxes somewhere.
Sure. So as you decide, no, we're just gonna look at these rooms. So as you turn round, the closest ones to you, which are the ones that seem to have been damaged by the roof coming in, and if Cray does look down the corridor, you will notice that it definitely seems to be the further in you go, the more the roof has caved in. It's caved in enough here to where some of the doors are ajar. Whereas the ones further to the wall of safety on the left, they're more intact, and Cooney would know all the rooms are locked and need keys to enter.
I mean, I can check the ones that are ajar, but if there's nothing useful in there, we just back out.
Okay, so you go and try and open the ones that are ajar. So as you go to pull, Cooney?
Yep.
It doesn't want to give. Seems like it's ajar, but the door slides inwards, and there's no power to the section. It doesn't seem to want to give. You're going to have to give it some muscle if you want to get the door open.
Strength check then?
Yes.
I'll give it a try.
I suppose I can assist. Or I must assist, rather.
Technically you can, but Cooney's done it anyway. So it takes a bit of time, but you finally get a bit of a wiggle on, and the door mechanism seems to give as you pull back and wiggle the door. You're able to, little by little, get it open. Cray, would you be stood there eagerly waiting for the door to open? Or would Cooney be the first one to enter the room?
I mean, he's the one with the light, so...
Okay. So, Cray, as the door is pulled open by Cooney, it inches open. You have your stab light looking inside. It looks as if the room has been torn up. As you look at the biggest object, the bed comes into focus first when the door's inching open. It looks as if something's ripped or attacked the mattress, because there's a lot of debris in there. As the door opens more and you can look around, you can actually see claw marks in the walls. Like there's 3 talon-sized marks that cut through the wall in areas.
I look if I see any signs of the creature that caused all these marks.
Sure. Give me a perception roll. There is a So yeah, it's still -20. I know you've got a tiny torch which is giving you a bit, so you're not in pitch black, but it's still. So it was.
Are you kidding me?
It was so close. As it takes you a bit longer, but as you look around, you don't think to look on the floor, but you're looking up at the ceiling. You know, is it going to come down from the roof? Is it maybe it's around the corner? Is it And then you look at the floor and you can see that there's small mushrooms that are growing and mosses and all sorts of vegetative growth that really shouldn't be there. And now that you take more notice, you do see that there's where your light beam passes lots of little dust particles and things that are going through your light beam.
I'd say, yeah, we're not going to enter that room.
He's going to raise an eyebrow.
I don't want to catch some special disease or get a coughing fit.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Do you want to try the other rooms that are ajar?
Sure.
So give me 2 more strength checks, Kuni.
Okay. I don't know why everybody's letting me do this, but
Apparently you're the strong one.
Can I try the second one?
Sure. If Kuni looks like she's yeah, you can't do it.
no, I'll give up. If I can't do it, I'll give up.
So you can try for the third one, Ray.
Any bonuses for using a mining pick as a leverage?
I'll give you +5. Not really the tool for the job, but it is a tool there. Oh,
I assume that means I smashed the tool.
yeah, you snap the handle. Yeah, you go to give it some cray and it just crack. Huh. Metal falls to the ground like bugger.
Goddamn weak sauce techno-barbarians.
But I can tell you, the first room, the second room that Kuni opened the door of, as you look through again, Cray, you can, now that you're more, you know what to look for. You don't see the slashes on the walls. The bed seems to be almost made up and fine until you notice all the little things that are moving. At first you thought it was just a different type of cover on the bed, but now you look, it's like thousands of small insects just all gathering over the bed. And you failed to get into the next room. Do you imagine only more of the same? What would you like to do? We going back to the wall of safety? Are we going back to the wall of safety and then back out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go back to your wall of safety where you can't be attacked from, the left hand side, and you turn around, so it's now your right hand side. You walk out. So again, as you're leaving, the smell is very damp and musty. But you walk back out, back around, and then you're heading back to the requisition officers holdings area. Kind of do. I will take that as a yes. So as far as I'm aware, it's going to take you an hour to get back through. At this point, you do have the emergency lights again. They are on and flickering in places. So you can turn your stab light off. So you're probably looking at an hour and a half that you've been gone. So Heinrich, the team have been gone for an hour and a half. At this point, I believe Muttermouth with the drone will return. And he'll tell you that they did find another entrance or another way round. He thinks it'll connect on, it'll come out much further, but he's not entirely sure if it's a break in the wall or if it's a cave, or he got round to an area where it seems to open up and go in the right direction. He didn't want to be gone any longer. And that's an hour and 40 minutes away, I think.
Oh, okay. So that leads a little bit further north. Does he think it leads out of the canyon or to a larger area?
You
'Cause if I
think it
remember
either
correctly-
leads out, which might be possible if there's a small crack in the canyon wall, because again, when you last saw it, it's one large canyon with one entrance. So maybe there's a small cave or a crack that you could get through. Or it leads round and reconnects with the way you came in.
Okay.
If you have
Okay.
to, he recommends we all run this way.
Yeah. That's all right. All right. I'm gonna come back in, get some rest for now. I'm gonna ponder some of the information.
Sure.
Shit. What was the details about this this route again? I don't think we went in. No one went this way, but
No, not to the one in the south right-hand
Southeast.
corner.
Yeah.
South right-hand corner. I do. Well done.
I get Monomouth to rest up a bit, and then I'll ask him to do a light scouting mission down that way, just to be prepared. So rest up for an hour or two, and then head on down that way walk for half an hour, then walk back, basically.
You can do that. Oh, joy. Joyest of joy. So yeah, I guess an hour and a half passes as the group make their way back through the bowels of the ship. Heinrich, do you want to give me an awareness check? There are no pluses, but there is a -10.
That's -10.
With
The
a success,
fuck?
with a success
I
of a natural
passed?
5. So Heinrich, as you're, an hour and a half has passed, so the group are just getting back to the armory. You're kind of laid back, just resting up for a bit. You've pondered the information. You've seen that the inbreds are both doing fine, and Muttermouth has just taken off to go and check the other route. And you hear something. You hear like stones falling from a height, little pebbles. You just turn to where the sound comes from, and something flashes and catches your eye. Unfortunately, past this did not add a token to this. There is no token. Actually, let me have a look at the token. Maybe if I didn't add it, because I know I added it to another game. Oh wow, this. Oh, This takes a while to load nowadays. Jesus. No, I don't think I added it to this one. I think I added all the Mechanicus stuff. Oh, it's also because this has still got dynamic lighting on as well. I forgot. No, I haven't got it.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what happened things.
So, you have at least seen one before, just not in this game. So, as you like a bit dazzled by the shine, it moves, and your eyes readjust, and you could swear that's a metal bird.
Fucking razor wing?
No,
No?
it's too large to be one of the razor wings, and they're blue and red coloured. This looks like silver and bronze. Gold, perhaps.
Fuck, I don't remember this.
Its head turns oddly, but again, it looks from, again, you are squinting a little bit. It looks as if it's a bird of prey, quite a large one at that. It's easily a hunting bird, perhaps, larger. It seems to take great interest at everything that moves round, and it looks down and it cocks its head a few times, and then it jerkily moves its head round and looks at something else that's moving, and then it seems to look at the ship. It moves its head jerkily multiple times before it spreads its wings, and that's when you really get holy shit, that thing's actually fucking huge, as its wingspan is ginormous. As it flaps its wings and dives off the side of the canyon that it's landed on, takes up and begins to fly off towards the east.
The east?
Towards the east.
Okay. I don't remember this thing. uh
It wasn't in this campaign. No.
It wasn't in this campaign.
Not this campaign. Not this
What was it
campaign
in,
at
then?
all. But so we go back into the ship as Cray, Goonie, and Thomas get back to the armory and to the quartermaster's door, and I need a security check.
Okay, any bonuses for taking my time?
No. Fortunately, tools would help, but specifically a multi-key, that would help.
Should I? How hard would it be to bash the lock in?
Difficult. It's not a door that's designed to give way to brute force. It's more of a door that's specially designed not to give way to brute force. So would you like to have another go?
I do have a basic tool set, which is expanded.
Yeah, but this would be very specific for, like, if you had fine tools, like for for working on chronometers and things like that, I would agree. I suppose, you know, even a
Last cutter.
So a las cutter, if you wanted to cut away the lock, would work. It's just going to take time and effort to cut through the door and its locks. I mean, with a las cutter, you can actually cut the door in two. So, you know.
I'll try again. I will try for 15 minutes to pick the lock again, and after that I'll just start cutting.
Well, it's half an hour for each roll of this
Well,
nature.
half an hour then, and then I'll start cutting.
Sure. So another security check. No, you felt you were closer than last time, but unfortunately, just not good enough. So as you get the las cutter out, I'm going to need a tech use test to see how well you wield said las cutter.
Okay.
Okay, so with 5 degrees of success, you think to yourself for a moment, well, I should cut round the lock really, and then you're like, no, in case there's auxiliary, bars that are in the door, I should really just go straight up along the opening. And yeah, as you start cutting through the along the opening of the door, you do at multiple times come across an area where the las cutter slows down. Like you can see that, hang on, this is taking longer to heat up. It's taking longer there's definitely a deadbolt in here. And the door definitely does seem to have a deadbolt system as you cut through the last one. This would have taken, I think it's actually these sorts of actions are meant to be. So it takes you about 45 minutes in total to go through. And as the door comes away and swings open, you see that there is about 10 deadbolts going up through the door, as well as a couple of them having electronics inside. You imagine there may have been an effect there if there was enough power to the ship to, activate it. So, inside the armory, can I get some search rolls?
Okay.
Jim back? Oh, jeez.
You get a +10 to your search roll. Would you like to re-roll that, Cooney?
Nah, not really. I don't have cert, so I'm rolling a 26.
There is a +10.
Even still.
That's not bad odds.
I'm rolling against a 31. I'm also... Can I wait a while till it's...
Also, I don't have that many fate points. I only have a singular fate point. So yay.
So search rolls are meant to be a little bit different to skill rolls, but I will be generous and give you all, or both. Oh, actually, I suppose Thomas hasn't actually rolled, so we should really let Thomas roll. You can have another roll.
Thank you. If I take an hour or 2 hours, do I get an extra bonus?
No.
Ah, damn it!
Did you add the +10?
I added a +10. If I wasn't fatigued, I would have made it.
Thomas is going to use a fortune point to reroll one. Oh, so yeah, Cray, you probably would have been better off saying, "Can we just stop and rest for an hour or two?" And then, got rid of the fatigue.
I thought I needed a long rest.
Well, there's no such thing as a long rest or a short rest in this game. It's just
But
hours.
I mean, I was thinking like to get rid of fatigue, I would need to do a thorough rest, so at least 8 hours or something like that.
No, that's only for healing. I think resting's an hour for removing fatigue. Well, in Dark Heresy and Only War, I think it's an hour.
That's not even that. It's just D&D.
I think in this, it's like an hour or two to remove a fatigue.
One level of fatigue per hour, and you need 24 hours for extended healing.
So, Cray,
Okay.
I'll give you the 0.3.
Yay!
As otherwise you're not going to be finding all that much.
Can I? Yeah, no. Let's first do that. I think I'm going to request a rest afterwards.
Sure.
So, can I get a 1d3, and then another 1d3, and then a 1d5? So you can each have one dice.
Roll a d3, and you roll a d3 and a d5.
I'll roll a 1d5.
Okay. I'll roll 2 d3s then. A 3 and a 1.
Okay, so as you go rummaging around in the quartermaster's storage area, a lot of it has actually been smashed about. It looks like in the collision, a lot of the gun lockers and storage lockers have all been shunted around and fallen all over the place, which has made searching really difficult. You can see why I didn't describe it before. So if you'd rolled really well, it's like, oh, everything's orderly, everything's easy, So it's taken you a while to rummage through everything. However, this has meant that some items, all items, have ended up being a bit damaged. You find for yourselves 3. Well, so it's that one. This was 1d3, 1d3, 1d5. Oh, Albie's done the 1d5. Okay. So you find for yourselves 3 damaged combat armors, which seem to be being damaged on not from the ship crashing, but these seem to be field damage where they've had I'm going to just say bolt shells explode on them, or had auto gun rounds, or some sort of shit, some sort of Imperial. Why not? Tau don't fight that many other races.
Tau fight a bunch of races, most of which the orcs.
Pretty sure they wiped out the orc group in their first round of expansions.
No,
No, they still fight orcs a lot, actually.
They have the feral ones. They have the same problem the Imperium does with cleaning up orc infestations. You then get occasional feral.
I was pretty sure they expanded into a part of the Imperial galaxy known as Fluffverse, where they just come across nice Xenos races that want to befriend them, and I was pretty sure that they had only come up against the Imperium.
Eating them and then
well, hang on. It's only one group who tried to eat them. Well, technically 2, the Kroot and the Tyranids. And then you've had the Dark Eldar
started
and
to eat them.
How don't eat people?
No, the Kroot do. The Kroot and the Tyranids do. Maybe the Dark Eldar as well.
Faction.
Yeah, so you get 3 suits of damaged combat armor. They have, I believe it's 3 in all locations. But it is advanced armor. You find 1 pulse rifle that is damaged, and you find 1 pulse pistol which is damaged. The only good thing that you find in here is that you find 9 rifle magazines. However, something seems to be wrong with them. You find 10 pistol magazines, but again, something seems to be wrong with them. You find 6 power packs for the rifles. Again, the power packs, it's easier to tell. Sorry, no, the magazines are fine because they're just normal magazines that lead solid ammo into the gun, or fuel source. The batteries are showing that their power is depleted by 50% or more.
How many batteries?
You have 6 batteries for the pulse rifles, if you count Jim's one, or Cooney's, and you have 5 for the pistol.
Adding everything up.
In total, your ammunition for the pulse pistols comes to 320 rounds, and for the pulse rifles is 524.
$124, you say?
524.
Okay.
And 125 for the pistol.
325 for the pistol. And these are the fuel source for the gun. Or guns.
The batteries you said are at 15%?
Yes, 50%. Or less in some of their cases.
Okay.
And again, these don't seem to be new ones. These seem to be battered ones that have clearly been on the field and were meant to either be sent to get refurbished, or that the quartermaster was holding on to them. Maybe he was doing some dodgy trades himself. Who knows? Who knows? Clearly his good stuff is still hidden.
The armors, I don't... Looking at the helmets, do any of these helmets have like some filters?
No. These are all standard standard equipment.
Okay. Still need to get to my room then. Did we found no torches though, flashlights, nothing, right?
Not in the quartermaster's area, no.
Okay. There should be another thingy in this floor too, right? Because this is a different floor.
Another what now? The emergency.
The emergency box.
Yeah, there should be one.
I'll mention to Cray and Thomas that we should probably go look for that before we go back up to the crew quarters.
Just to verify, it was 3 damaged battle armors.
They have
they
3.
give AC
3
3
AP.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll let you have it if you want to. Yeah, if you can retrofit them to fit you. There you go.
They are not human shaped. They are very specifically tau shaped.
I mean, I can still salvage it.
This is true.
Everything is salvage, including the bolts.
So give me an intelligence check, Cooney.
Okay. What?
Intelligence.
I'll give you a +10. So as you start pondering your little mind about where one could be in this section, so you've gone over to the armory room, which means you're in the deployment area, which means you went... Okay, so you think to yourself that, you know, this is the deployment area. They'd probably have equipment here. What if we go back into the maintenance area? So you head on back into the maintenance area, and you start looking in, like you start looking down the corridors, but then you realize that, well, most of the maintenance would not have their own lights on equipment, on this, that, and the other. And you start wandering around for a bit, and you find what basically is a bathroom. No real other way of, you know, you open the door and you look underneath the sink area. I imagine the towel wash their hands. Underneath there's a compartment, and you open it up and you find a emergency kit. It only has the light in it, but you hit the button and it does seem to come on. So you have a light. Can you roll a 1d2?
1d2?
Yes. Yes. Okay. What would you like to do? It's probably been about 5 hours, 6 hours, since you first entered here, as you went all the way there and then all the way back.
I'll tell Cray and Thomas that I still need to get to my crew quarters, because I need my armor. And there should also be more things up top, so...
But again, you spent like 5-6 hours in here. It wasn't exactly morning when you all came in here, so...
Unless they want to go back outside to warn people, but I don't think that would be necessary. I'll just say I think we should go back up to the crew quarters, especially now that we have a flashlight.
Ray?
I would follow her to her quarters.
Right, okay. So you go back to where you were. So okay. So I could tell you now, Cray, that by the time you I can't remember what time it was when everyone blew up. So, Craig, you're... How do I put this? You'd probably be feeling tired, is the only way I could... Because for Heinrich outside, at this point, the sun has set. The sun has gone behind the valley walls. It would obviously set quicker than it actually... It's not quite nighttime yet, but yeah, you've watched the sun go behind the valley walls, and it's getting rather dark.
I'll persevere. I've pulled more than one all-nighter.
Okay. Okay. So you go for another hour and a half, as far as I can remember, back to where you're now at the deployment hangar hab bay. Are you going exactly the same way as you went last time?
I think I should know where my quarters are, so I'll try to go straight to my quarters.
Jim. I've said this
Oh, yeah,
before.
straight.
You are in the crew quarters, which is on a different level. You have to get to the end of the deployment quarters, which is this area where the fire warriors would be housed, and to get into the equipment.
I'll say again, I want to go to my room, so I should know the path. So yes, the same way, right?
Okay, then you walk a completely different route to the way you came, because this time you're cutting straight through the center rather than going to the end of the wall and along like you did last time. So you're going to the first group of blocks and you walk straight down. You get to past the first 12. Not hearing any objections or anything else, so you walk past the next 12. Want to do anything? Or are you just walking straight to your quarters?
Yeah. I'm trying to head straight to my quarters.
Okay,
My
so
armor should be there, so
you move past the next 12.
I will look around to see if there's any signs of something coming into the ship, but other than that, yeah, straight path.
So you are going to look around and roll, you know, awareness rolls?
Yeah.
You realize you do actually call them out at times, you know. Okay. Cray, do you want to do an awareness roll? I suppose I should really let Muttermouth do one as well. Thomas do one as well. I don't want him to die. You do have technically 2 torches now, but one of them is stab light, so yeah, you can roll them flat for this area. Okay, so Cray, as Cooney seems to be quite determinedly walking down this path that you guys haven't looked through before, you've walked past the area that you came before. You're 1 row further in than what you went before, and Cooney is walking to go 2 rows further in. But you've noticed as you're looking around that yes, the ceiling has come in again. There's more detritus around now, which you saw before, but now you're actually seeing it. It looks like parts of something or someone. They're kind of charred and smoky looking, as you put your stab light down to look. And that's when you start noticing the corners of the walls this deep in. There's a moss that's growing and an algae, a fungus growing. Not algae, that's water. And now that you take a breath, it's dank. It's moist. It's mildewy smelling as Cooney steps into the next one. So this is 4 rows in. You can see that a number of the doors are open and have full-on vegetation, plants growing And it looks as if someone tried burning this area with something to try and keep the fungus spread at bay.
Sure, we shouldn't try to take the long route.
Rooney, you are 4 rows in as Cray says something to you.
I'm going to stop looking. I mean, sure, we could. Why?
I don't like all this plants and fungus growth here. I assume that's not the normal.
Cooney,
Let's stop.
as it is made apparent to you as you start looking around on the floor, you notice that there are the detritus on the floor that you thought was possessions of some sort. Yeah, that looks very much like a charred face. Like a charred face.
Okay.
You're pretty sure it's Tau for what's left. Pretty about 99%, but it's pretty bad burns. And it's only part of the face. Do you have jaded?
Check. I don't believe I do.
Can I get a willpower test?
Just check.
Also, Cray, I should ask, do you have jaded?
I do not have jaded. I failed.
I know this is only mundane fear. So
I don't think so.
Then can I get a willpower test from you as well? But yours is with a +10. Fucking where the bloody fucking hell is this? It's so big. There it is. Oh God, it's going to take me. It's going to take a moment for the page to load. There we go. There we go. Okay. Can I get a toughness test from you, Cooney, with a -20? So you throw up as you stare into this face when the realization of you knew this individual comes. You see a part of the face that isn't burnt, and you see scars going across that are all battle scars. And his face comes to mind, and you see what it is now, and it's just comes up. It looks as if he has been burnt and the skin has bubbled and boiled, but now it looks like it's festering and rotting, all really quickly. And as you look around, you can see parts of him. Some parts charred, some parts just festering and rotting already. The skin sloughing off the bone in places where, the parts have been moved around in the crash.
Okay. As soon as I'm done potting with what little lunch I had, I'll check if he has a.
Where is his face? Is his face and parts of him?
So no corpse, nobody, or nothing left.
Well,
Just the face.
It's parts of him, Jim. You know, like there's part of an arm over there, part of a skull there, part of a torso there. He's like been eviscerated.
I'll check if in the part of his torso his ritual knife is there. If it is, I'll take it.
Give me a search roll? I don't know.
I would do exactly what it is because it's something that all Tau should have, especially fire warriors.
Jim, he's been eviscerated. I told you he's in little bits. Like
I
if that
get it,
blade is still there,
but
if you
still.
find chunks that big, you know.
Sure. I don't find it. Okay. I'll get up. I'll look at Cray. I'll clean my mouth a little bit. Well, whatever killed him might still. I don't know what killed him. I can't find his ritual knife, but we need to keep moving forward.
Not through there.
Fine, we'll go around.
You just started puking all over it, and I'm not entirely comfortable with our ability to deal with this kind of mess now.
Fine, we'll go around.
Also, on another note, do you guys have a self-destruct function?
You mean the ship?
Yes, the ship.
Yes, it should have, but
I mean, I don't know your species, so do you guys install bombs inside your body?
we should, as far as I'm aware.
Inside your body?
No, not my body. I thought you meant the ship. Sorry. No, we don't have bombs inside us.
I see.
Why?
Curiosity. So, when you're killed, is free loot, or do you deal with, or do you remove the loot?
When I kill what, an enemy?
Yeah, when you're killed.
And we are killed. Well, we usually take it. I'm gonna show him my ritual bond knife. Usually take this from our dad, but I can't find his. So
Okay.
And are you asking if we have a bomb inside our bodies because of the state he's currently in? Because that's clearly not an explosion.
No, I was wondering what will happen if we start looting, or when you are overrun by the big enemy.
Go down, find it. Do you have an explosive on you?
Not yet.
Trey. Not yet. I see. I'm going to look at Thomas. Do you have a bomb inside of you?
He shrugs, holds up a small box and rattles it.
Huh. Okay. Hey, well, let's go around. Let's go the long route.
So you're 4 deep on the first corridor, and you want to go round. Or sorry, you've just entered the 4th area, Cooney, and Cray is in the 3rd. Of the first channel down, corridor down. You want to go round. So how would you like to go round? You want to just go left for a moment and then go straight, or go round one block?
If there's an area, if I look down the left corridor, it seems like to be less chaotic. I'll go left. The right I'll just roll awareness. Go.
So as you stay in the fourth area, but you're going down the corridor of the fourth area, it seems to get funky no matter what side you go. If you go all the way to the left and you get to the left-hand wall of safety, as you look down, now that you have a light that can extend its light further, it's still going funky. Like the moss is growing on the floor, but really taking over the floor now, to where you're walking on a carpet of moss. That smell of decay and fungus is much more pungent. It seems as if you're going to have to go through the moss and fungus at one point.
Yeah, I'll just tell that to Cray. Yep. No matter which way we take, we're gonna have to go through some of this crap.
Are you going on to the fungus?
To look at Cray and motion that I want to keep going.
I look warily at the fungus. No other way around.
Doesn't seem like it.
All right.
So you enter into the fourth section. You start walking, and you're now fully onto fungus. The smell is getting more potent as you go past the 12 hab blocks. Well, actually, no. If you're going on we'll keep you inside. The 12 hab domiciles on either side, whatever have you. You're onto the fifth side. As you start looking around, the fungus has overtaken everything, and there are big bulky things that seem to be in the way. You can walk round them. There just seem to be these things that are covered in fungus that are in the corridors. And as you move your light around, the spores now, the bits that are going in between catching the light are a lot.
You know, look at Cray. I don't suppose you have a flamethrower, do you?
I have a flashlight. I mean, yeah. I'll ask again.
Can it shoot fire?
Lasers?
I'm going to look at Thomas. Do you have anything that can be used as an incendiary?
He shakes his head. No, only blow thing up. Not set on
Great.
fire.
Just so I have a better, clearer mental picture, to get to my quarters, the only way for me to reach that place, I have to go through the fungus, basically.
Yes.
Lovely. Well, we can either try to set fire to the fungus, so we can try to find a way to not breathe in the fungus.
I don't think we will be able to create a fire that is strong enough to burn it away, seeing you to scorch marks into the room.
I'm going to think back. Have you encountered any species on this planet that only attack after they're attacked? Because it might make sense why my friend was dead back there, eviscerated, if we tried to set flame to the fungus and the fungus reacted somehow.
I don't think it's from this planet. I've heard stories about ships going into the warp and coming out covered in very nasty growths and other things. They usually had to use promethazine flamethrowers at the bare minimum.
Hmm. Do I know any other members of my team that have quarters closer to where we are instead of going through the fungus?
I don't quite know how I can break this to you, but the crew are normally housed in the crew quarters together. And as you're
Yeah,
not on the
I
crew
really don't have
quarter
a clear
bay,
picture of what the ship is to you, so I'm sorry. I'm struggling with
that's
that.
because there is no artwork or floors or anything to work this out.
Yeah.
The crew quarters are a floor above you, but the only way to get there is through this area because the elevators are down, and you wouldn't normally have straight access to the crew quarters to make it more difficult for enemies because this is a warship. So the fewer direct lines of route, the better. Like having one, because again, normally you just walk along the spine of the ship through the crew quarters up into the elevator into the crew quarters. The elevators don't work. The spine of the ship is broken, so you're having to go through all the auxiliary routes, and this way leads you to the elevator, which you'll have to climb up. You won't be able to use it, but would lead you up the elevator to the crew quarters. That then another elevator up leads you to the bridge of the ship, the more the nerve control area of the ship. So yeah, you kind of
Just to see if I remember this correctly, you previously said it would be the vehicle bay and the drone bay would be underneath the crew quarters. Is that correct? Or would we be at levels underneath?
You've got the vehicle bay where you met everyone, where you were doing your exercises, and then you've got a mechanical area next to that. Then you've got the deployment area next to that, where the troops get ready to get their gear on, get armored up, and get going to their transports. You then went up an upper elevator shaft onto the habitation block area. Went through a bit. You then go to the end of the hab block for the deployable troops, and then you go up an elevator to get to the crew quarters and area. But normally there's a big elevator and you can use the big spine of the ship to go up and down, not a problem. But with the elevator out of action, with the spine of the ship broken and most of the big corridors that lead along it, some areas, it would have fallen away and it's gone through the roof of the building, the area underneath it, and that leads to an empty storage area where, if you fall, you're dead. So you've had to go through the windy routes throughout the ship.
Hmm.
So are you going through the fungus into Area 5?
I'm thinking. if we were to backtrack, is there any location where I could potentially find a fuel source that I can use as a flame? That could work. Maybe in the mechanical bay area.
I mean, I should imagine that the beds and the linen would set on fire. The cloths, anything what the towel used for blanketries would in some way burn. But as for fuel sources, no, because I don't have a single clue what towel vehicles run on. I think they're electric, not fuel driven.
I thought plasma, but don't quote me.
Yeah, but that just means they have a plasma engine on board provides power for uh, 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 for electricity, or like a plasma engine.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so,
fairly hot.
yeah, but it's not like
I mean-
it's not like the Imperials where they have promethium, so you could go down to the engine bay and get some promethium and chuck it about, and that's what I mean. If they're electric vehicles, there's not going to be like you're not going to be able to make a Molotov cocktail,
Fair. Maybe we could make dead bags out of the magazines for the for the pulse rifles.
Sure, if you could get enough energy into them to get them to react, or if you made it so a plasma pulse weapon would overload, you could probably make it so it'd cook off the mag and explode. These are possibilities. I don't think they'd help you get through like a decent chunk of moss growths and funguses that are growing.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. This is a ship, so there might repairs outside the ship might be necessary. So there should be what's it called? It's not EVA, it's what's the name of the thing? The door that leads to outside the ship and usually has
airlock. An airlock.
Yeah, it's an airlock. But if we could find one of those, there should be suits for walking outside the ship. So we could, in theory, if we find one that is functional, well, 3 in this case, we could put those on, or at least use the rebreather part of that to walk through the fungus without getting infected. I'll mention that to Cray and Thomas and say that we should probably see if we can find one of those. Because if we can't easily burn this away, we at least find a way not to breathe it.
Give me an
And
intelligence check, Jim.
I still have the fuel from my steam drill.
Do I gain any bonuses or minuses this?
No.
Okay.
Would I be able to burn it away with the last cutter?
So, Cooney, as far as you can remember, as far as you're aware, because you're not an Earthcast, you're pretty sure that the drones take care of that. You're not entirely sure, but you're pretty sure that the drones take care of outside maintenance for the ship in most cases, if it's replacing armor plates and things like that. Otherwise, they go into dry dock and they get repaired in a station.
So you're telling me there's there's not a single type of that clothing or armor inside the ship for that type of maintenance. Okay.
The only areas you could think that they would have them is maybe in engineering. Because as they have to deal with more environmentally hazardous environments. But Tau doctrines are don't get up close and personal, stay at long distance and skirmish. So genuinely speaking, you know, using their drones as mobile shields whenever they need to get, you know, too close. Because again, they're not going to have these things littered about the ship.
I'll mention to Trey that possibly the only place where we might find something like that is apparently the engineering bay, so we should go there. Engineering bay should be at the back of the ship, so it should still be undamaged or not as damaged.
Midway, please.
Okay.
You turn around and head back. By the time you get back to the about 8 hours, so I mean it's about the right time anyway, I suppose. So you walk back the way you came. It's going to take you another hour and a half. So now you've been inside the ship for 8 hours. Like Cray, you are getting stupidly tired. It's got to be about midnight at this point. You guys did all that exploring, coming through the canyon, fought, had 2 of your friends get blown up, then came and met Cooney. It's got to be past midnight by now. So Cray, you would basically be on 2 levels of fatigue at this point. Cooney, I've got to imagine that you're getting to the point where you're getting a level of fatigue. Depending on what time you got up. And the fact that you're going through a very high stress environment, going this way, that way, you know, it's going to knacker you out. So, yeah, you 2 have to kind of make camp in the ship. Unless you want to try and get outside to go to sleep, you're sleeping in the ship.
Yeah, I'll just recreate closer to the position where I was staying, or to the position I was staying. That's not too far away. Because I've been here for a couple of days, you said, so I should have a place that I was sleeping.
Yeah, the cargo hangar, where you had access to the drone controls.
If it's not too far away, yeah, that's what that. Also, I just looked at the time.
Yes. I'm well aware. That's why I was like getting to the point where you 2 need to sleep. So go to sleep, you bastards. So sure, there's like another half an hour or so, 45 minutes for you to get down to the cargo hangar to where you have been staying. And that is where we end our episode. So the group got some loot, and are, you know, back to where they started. Heinrich is none the wiser of what has happened or what is going on, but we will see what happens in the next episode. So thank you all so much for watching. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this episode and looking forward to the future episodes to come. Take care, everyone, and as always, bye-bye for now.
See ya.
Marvelous.